What's up guys, welcome back. In this video I'm going to be making a shadow box for these autographed boxing gloves. So just starting out, I ripped some cherry into 1/2-inch square strips, and this will be the frame for the shadow box. I didn't want any metal fasteners to be showing on the joinery, so I'm using half-lap joints. A dado blade would make cutting the half-lap joints a lot easier, but I don't have one, so I'm just taking 2 passes with my table saw sled, and that'll get the same results. Just, it'll take a little bit longer. And always remember to keep the stop block either on the other side of the piece or raised up so that little piece of wood that gets cut off has somewhere to go and it doesn't get trapped between the blade and the stop block. The front section of the shadow box has a half-lap joint that is cut into the half-lap joints that hold the side sections together. And instead of cutting all the joints together, I just cut the side pieces and then glued those up and let them dry completely, and then I cut the half-laps for the front section into the sub-assembly of the sides. And you can see the material that I'm removing for the second half-lap joint. I don't know where any of the video went, but I cut a thin groove in all the pieces before I glued up the joints, and this is for the plexiglass to slide into in later steps. After cutting the grooves for the plexiglass on the plywood, I just cut some thin strips of cherry into the edge banding that'll hide the plywood edge. And I'm just putting 45-degree miters on the corners to make it look a little nicer. The next day I spent a lot of time sanding all the imperfections out of the wood, especially the plywood, and I sanded all throughout the grits and all the way up to 400 to get it really nice and smooth. Next I started applying the stain, and I put 3 coats, sanded in between coats with 400 grit sandpaper, and this stain has polyurethane mixed in it, so it made it pretty easy finishing it. I didn't have to put any other type of finish on top of the stain, which was nice. So I set all the wooden pieces aside to dry, and then I worked on cutting the plexiglass. And I changed my blade to my crosscut blade, which has more teeth, and I just figured it probably would reduce the amount of tear out on the plexiglass. Next I just slid the plexiglass into the grooves I cut earlier and assembled the box. There's 4 screws that come up from the bottom of the plywood, and then there's 4 screws that hold the back on. Also, the nice thing about this project is that you can make it as simple as you want. It's pretty much just a box with some grooves in it. And you could hold all the pieces together with screws and nails, so you don't have to have any fancy joinery to make it look nice. Overall, I'm pretty happy how it came out. I really like the design, and I like how you could see the boxing gloves from the sides and the top and not just the front. Not to be too critical, but some of the joints didn't really line up, and I had to use some wood filler and sand and kind of make it fit. But I can't complain. I really do like how it all looks, and it came out pretty nice. Alright guys, hope you liked this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video.